Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today, after you complete your studies in this school and you start looking at higher education opportunities, one question will start coming in your minds, and you will notice lots of peer interest also in that kind of question, which is, what will I become? What will I make of this education? And till some years ago, the choices were very limited. You either became a doctor or engineer or a civil servant. But these days, one of the most exciting life that one can lead is that of an entrepreneur. In fact, entrepreneurship is becoming one of the most sought after vocations for young people in the current generation. I have seen some of the best business schools, some of the best engineering schools. They get the best companies come for placement. But if you look at their placement record, you will find that every year more and more students are opting out of placement. And if you find out who are they, why are they not joining the placement when the placements are so attractive, some of the best companies are coming, overseas jobs are being offered, salaries are getting bigger and bigger, better and better. Why is it that certain people are not really joining this placement program? And you will find that these are the people who have felt that they can lead a better life by pursuing their own passion, by chasing their own dream. They don't want to work for anyone. They want to create their own companies. They want to give jobs to others rather than working for someone else. And if you find out how did it all begin, when did they get this idea that they will be better off by starting something by themselves, by becoming an entrepreneur, many of them tell that it was something in the college, some experiment or some part of the curriculum or some kind of entrepreneurial interaction where they felt that I can also do this. So that moment is something that is very, very important. And we in the government here in Hyderabad, in Telangana, have realized that if you look at the global trends, the age at which this early bug or this interest or this spark in becoming an entrepreneur is taking place, it is becoming lower and lower and lower. In fact, you'll be amazed to hear this. Some months ago, I went to Bangalore. I went to attend a conference, and I was introduced to someone. It was told to me that he became the CEO of his company at 14 years of age. I mean, when I met him, he was maybe 22 or possibly in early 20s. But at 14 years of age, he became the CEO of his own company. And I found out sometimes it may also happen that you have a very rich father. So just to indulge you, he created a company, you play around with it. But it was found that it was not so. I mean, his father could be rich, but the company was a real company. It had balance sheet, it had employees, it has a line of activity. And this person was actually running this company by himself at the age of 40. So that is the reality. I mean, the world of entrepreneurship is becoming younger. More and more people are deciding at a very early age that they will pursue their dreams. You would know that the poster boys of modern era, if you look at 5, 6 of them, the poster boys like, let us say, Steve Jobs, or Bill Gates, or Mark Zuckerberg. Even in India, I have a very close friend. He's also, I mean, he's not of that league, but he's also very important. He has founded a company. I'm sure all of us know of his company. His company is called Oyo, and this person is Ritesh Agarwal. If you look at any of them, Ritesh or Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, they actually left colleges, and they were admitted in possibly the best colleges in the world. Steve Jobs was in Stanford, Mark Zuckerberg was at Harvard, Bill Gates was at Harvard. People will give up their life to get admission to these kind of universities and colleges. But these people decided to quit the college. Not because they could not manage the academic load, etc., but because they felt that they are wasting their time going to the classes and writing assignments and appearing in exams. They felt that they can do better things, and obviously we have seen what better things they could have done. So this is the point, that when you look at your future, look at this opportunity also. And one very advantageous thing is that today lots of ecosystem support is available. When they were introducing me, they spoke about this fantastic institution that we have in Hyderabad, which is called T-Hub. T-Hub is possibly the gold standard when it comes to promoting innovation, entrepreneurship. In fact, the motto of T-Hub is that you walk in with an idea and you will be supported at every step so that you can walk out with a valid product or a solution. And there are many such institutions, many such ecosystem enablers, etc. So I'm sure when you start looking at yourself for the future, this is also a very valid and a very strong choice that will motivate you about your future. The other very important thing to mention is addressed to the teachers. So as I said, in our colleges now, in many colleges in Hyderabad, in Telangana, we have started setting up entrepreneurship cells. We have started setting up innovation hubs. And today, I was told, unfortunately, I came a little late, but I saw that the innovation center or the innovation hub here in this school has also been inaugurated. So this is wonderful, because eventually, if you look at who becomes a successful entrepreneur, you can notice certain method in his journey, certain method in his process, his or her process. And I can tell this for sure that people can learn this method. I mean, you can improve on how to become a successful entrepreneur by understanding the science and art of it. It can be taught, and it can be taught at a very early age also, particularly in schools also. But the way it has to be taught is very, very different. I mean, all of you, many of the teachers here, you teach different subjects. You yourself would have been trained to become a teacher. You would have learned some elements of pedagogy. You would have been taught about how to explain a concept, how to explain the definition, how to give examples, and so on and so forth. But entrepreneurship is something which is not really taught that way. In fact, it is not something which can be taught in the conventional way, the chalk and talk method. You stand behind a blackboard, you tell the definition of entrepreneurship. That is not the way. That is actually the wrong way of teaching someone how to become an entrepreneur. People actually will move away from becoming an entrepreneur if people start teaching them the definition of entrepreneurship, and tomorrow there'll be an exam, you have to explain what is that definition. So the definition of entrepreneurship is not that important, but how does one practice entrepreneurship? How do you understand what problem is important? How do you see potential solutions? How do you realize that you alone will not have all the answers? You need to build a team which will support you. How do you validate your idea? And how do you also judge whether someone else is working on the same solution? And how can you create a differentiator? How can you do something better? So there are lots of things which define whether you will become a successful entrepreneur or not. And all of this can be taught through learning, through experience, through immersion. So when you, for example, give a project, a science project to the student, instead of doing some very routine kind of creating a prototype or something, why don't you encourage him to look at a problem statement? And fortunately, India is a country where at every step there is a potential problem. And in fact, people mention this sometimes in humor, that if you can solve a problem in India, you can solve it anywhere in the world. So that is how things are. But in a way, it's also a great opportunity for us. So see if you can use this lab, the innovation center, sow the seeds of innovation and entrepreneurship in a very imaginative way. The last point which I would make is addressed to the parents. And the simple and a very obvious point to the parents is that allow the child is like a flower, allow the flower to bloom by itself. If you put pressure, if you compare your child to someone else's child, or if you compare this school to some other school, we all know that there are many schools where children are it's a factory-like environment. You are brought there, you are pigeonholed there, you study from morning till night, and the whole purpose is to ensure that you appear in some exam, you clear that exam. Maybe it works for some parents, but in modern days, in modern times, in my personal opinion, it is actually criminal to subject your child to that kind of harassment. The opportunities today, the world over, have multiplied so many times that you don't really need to push your child to do things which is not natural to him or her. The child should, I was therefore very pleased when I saw the sports facilities. When I was being mic'd up, I was taken inside the school. I saw the arts room. I saw the pottery, the ceramic facility, and so on and so forth. So it's amazing to be in a school like this, where so many opportunities to follow your creativity, your talent is given, and that is how childhood should be. In fact, if you push the child against his or her wishes, the child may comply, because as a parent, you have complete authority over the child, but at some stage in the life, the child will regret that he gave in, he complied so easily, he did not rebel. And at some point in time, you will also feel that maybe this is not the best thing that you did. So create a very, very supportive home environment. In fact, the school provides a wonderful environment of learning in a very holistic manner, but unless it is supported at home also, whatever gains are achieved here will all get frittered away. So let us look at how your child can do wonderful things, innovative things. He can become a poster boy tomorrow. We can take his example when we address gatherings like this. And you will play a very important role. The school and the teachers will play a very important role. And of course, it is the drive and motivation within the child itself that will decide what levels of achievement, what levels of height he will reach. So once again, good wishes to everyone, and have a wonderful rest of the TEDx session. Thank you.